Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Jamey Palmer Show, presented by Starnes Barber, as we cover everything here on the Diamond with the North Greene Huskies baseball team. As always, joined here with head coach Jamey Palmer. Coach.
Hey Tyler, how are you, bud?
Good. Good to see you today.
Yes, sir.
Another warm day out here on the Diamond. It's good to be back out here in Baileyton to talk to you.
Yes, we're 3-0 on these shows, Tyler.
We are.
3-0 we've been out here, so that's what we like to have. That's a beautiful day.
That's good. Hopefully get the game in later today also.
I hope so too.
Traveling over to Chucky Doak. I'll be in attendance for that one. Hopefully everybody will be in attendance for that one. Hopefully we get it in also. Of course, the weather might play into effect today, but knock on wood, let's hope the game gets in before that happens.
Yes, hope so too.
Let's talk about the 5 previous games we have to talk about, though. We've got a long list of games to go through. Let's start back all the way to Thursday whenever you played South Greene. Played South Greene here at home on prom night. It was a weird game for both teams. I know South Greene was a little understaffed. It wasn't the cleanest game. I think 12 combined errors from both teams. But at the end of the day, you get a 9-8 win. I know you weren't happy with your performance, but at the end of the day, how happy were you with the win?
Well, anytime you can get a win, you know, sometimes it ain't pretty, but you'll take a win over a loss, you know, and that's what we talked about that night. You know, sometimes it's not about the wins or losses. It's how you play the game. And you know, we had a few errors and they had a few errors, but, you know, in the end, we squeaked one out. So I'll take that dub. And
then moving into Friday, Friday was maybe even more of a weird day because playing on Good Friday with an earlier start time at, I believe, 2 o'clock against Carter, you played very well with a very good baseball team. Very quality team. It resulted in a 4-3 loss against the number 8 team in 3A, but how happy were you with your performance against one of the best teams, 2 classifications above North Greene?
Very, very happy. You know, sometimes as a coach, you know, being the first-year head coach, sometimes I feel like we're kind of like a water faucet. Sometimes we turn it on, sometimes we turn it off. So I feel like that's what we did against Carter. You know, some better teams we've played, we didn't play well, but they came in here and their first 7 or 8 are pretty solid. You know, they like to swing it, and they swing it with authority. And Brady did a good job on the mound for us. You know, and they hit it, and we made some plays, and, you know, they hit a lot of fly balls, and we caught them. Just had a crucial error there in the top of the 7th that let them get a couple runs, maybe a walk, and in that error, you know, we just couldn't overcome it there in the bottom of the 7th. So, but very proud of them.
Then you take the weekend off, moving into this week where you have 4 games in 5 days. You had Chucky Doak on Monday, Happy Valley on Tuesday, University High on Wednesday, or I believe was that Thursday or Wednesday. Yeah. Had Thursday off, and then of course you'll have Chucky Doak later today that we talked about at the beginning of the show, and we'll talk about later in the second half. Take me through those 3 games that you had back-to-back on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Monday's game against Chucky Doak, you know, there again, Chucky Doaks, they're solid. They're aggressive on the bases. They hit it well. Honestly, I just don't know that we were mentally prepared to play them. So I'm looking forward to playing them again today to see if our group will show up and play. You know, like I said, they jumped on us early with 3 or 4 runs, and I think we got 1 maybe, and we hit it, and we had a lot of balls we hit right at them. You know, their pitcher was doing a good job keeping us off balance. So, you know, sometimes you just have to tip your hat.
Moving into Tuesday, you were able to get that revenge over Happy Valley. I know that was a game that we had talked about, I believe, last week that you were unhappy with because of the showing that you put out there on the Diamond. You were able to reverse that game and pick up a win over Happy Valley. How sweet was it to reverse the fortunes and get that win back over the Warriors?
That was a good win for us. We needed that win. Just, you know, honestly glad to get to play because the weather forecast for all of this week was not looking good. So, you know, if we could get 3 games in, that would be a plus for us. But, you know, Happy Valley came down here, and I think they were missing a few players as well. So, you know, even though they were missing some, I felt like we had a good approach to revenge that loss. I don't know because we were playing at home, but our mentality has just got to be, no matter who we play or where we play, let's just go play and try to win.
Moving into Wednesday also, you had University High for the last time this season in the third game of the regular season series. Ended up resulting in another loss, but tell me, what did you learn from this third game with University High?
Well, honestly, we were just hoping to get somebody on the mound to give us some innings that would just throw strikes, and we could try to play some defense behind them. With the way the pitching rules is now, we're in the point of the season where we've got to get our guys some work in case they need to go longer in innings or longer in games. So we'd used Brady and Aiden on Monday and Tuesday. With UH coming in, we were just looking for somebody to throw strikes, and we brought Jackson Britton in. Jackson did a good job for us. He struggled a little bit early, but I don't think he's ever had a start, Tyler. So we were just looking for him to just pound the zone and us try to make plays behind him. We did that a little bit. Of course, like I said, you throw in a walk or two here and there, and
they'll make you pay for it.
Yes, they're a good swing hitting team, so they swing it well. Also, next thing you know, it's 11-1. So, I'll take that. I don't like to lose, but just to get Jackson some time on the mound, because we may need him later on down the road somewhere. And I think Isaac came in and maybe threw an inning or so. So it's good to get him some work on the mound. We'll just go with it, Tyler, see how it goes.
We're here at the end of the regular season now, where I believe you only have 2 more regular season games left before the postseason.
We were actually supposed to play Cosby yesterday, and it got rained out. That was a game that we had originally had scheduled at the first of the year with both basketball teams in the region tournament. We kind of decided to move that one later in the year. Of course, he called about, I think it was 2:45 yesterday, and said that they'd just got a thunderstorm come through, and they'd had some previous rain the day before, so we didn't get to play that one. So, and then hopefully get this one in today and see where we're at.
It's crazy to think that in less than a week's time, it's postseason.
Yeah, it's all, you're at the first of the season, you're wanting to get going, and things are flying by, and then seems like middle of the season you get rainouts and everything kind of slows down and backs everything up, and then all of a sudden it's the end of the season and tournament time.
It's the exciting time of the year, though.
It is, and
we'll go ahead and talk about that in the second half. Before we do that, though, as always, we need to get a word in from our sponsors first. We appreciate our sponsors. Need to give them as much screen time as we can, so we'll be right back after these messages here on Grassroots Media.
My name is Robert Starnes. I'm a lifelong resident of North Greene County, where I currently reside here with my wife and 3 children. I was a barber in Greenville for the last 6 years, but I have recently changed locations to my new shop in Baileyton. It's at 285 Mortis Hollow Lane, Afton. I'm also a proud supporter of North Greene Athletics. Come see me for all of your men and boys grooming needs. Go Huskies!
Baileyton Drug Company services the surrounding communities of Baileyton with excellent patient care using a full-line pharmacy, over-the-counter selections, and a convenient drive-thru. When you visit us, you are treated as a neighbor, not a number. It's not just our slogan, but our culture. We're investing in our patients, local schools, and community. For over 5 years now, we have established ourselves as an independently family-run pharmacy that isn't driven by corporate goals. We are driven by what is best for your overall health and wellness. We're conveniently located so you don't have to make the drive. Prescription drugs are just the tip of the iceberg. We also offer natural remedies, essential oils, at-home medical needs such as walkers, rollators, bath accessories, as well as wound care products. And coming soon, basic urgent care services. What makes us better than other drugstores out there? When you frequent Baileyton Drug, you will receive professional, courteous, and friendly service that goes above and beyond any other pharmacy in the area. Remember, you're a neighbor, not a number.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Jamey Palmer Show, presented by Starnes Barber, where we cover everything on the diamond with the North Greene Huskies baseball team. As always, joined here with Huskies head coach Jamey Palmer. So you've got 2 regular season games left before we enter the postseason. You've got Chucky Doak today, as we've alluded to, and then you've got Carter again on Monday. You travel up there to Carter, and you travel over to Lower Afton today to play the Chucky Doak Black Knights. Of course, by the time this is out, the game will probably have either about to be played.
Yep. Either
way, they won't see this before this comes out, but talk to me a little bit about what you expect from Chucky Doak today.
Well, probably about much of the same as we saw here. We may see a little different picture, I'm sure. You know, a lot of those guys over there, they know our guys and we know them, so it comes down to the point who can play the cleanest defense and execute and, you know, put the ball in play and who can get the runs in. That's what it comes down to, Tyler. If you can do that, then you give yourself a chance.
Moving into Monday, you play Carter again, a team that you played as recent as this Friday on Good Friday. So it's kind of like Chucky Doak. You saw Chucky Doak on Monday, and then Friday you had 4 days between games. With Carter, I think you'll have 10 days between games. So probably not much difference. Teams will about be the same from the time that you see them. Tell me what you can expect when you travel up there to play them this time.
Well, you know, I feel like we're going to go down there and probably see their best, you know, and that's what we want. We want to see people's best. Like I said before, they're, I don't know, 1 through 7, they're probably about as good as we've saw. I know West Greene got them last night, so that was probably a good win for them. But just, you know, traveling down there, I think we were supposed to go down there last year and it got rained out later in the year. So, you know, to take a road trip right before your district tournament to play a good, solid baseball team, it can only make you better going into the tournament.
Road trips to Knoxville are always fun.
Yes.
A little long, but they're always fun.
Yep. May stop at Buc-ee's on the way back, too.
That's right. It's the best place to stop.
That's right.
Let's talk about the district tournament just a little bit. Of course, you've got 2 games before you enter that postseason, but we all know the postseason is on everybody's mind about this time of the year because it's just right around the corner. So this year's district tournament is upon us. Talk to us about the format, the hosts, who you'll play, and everything that goes into the 2025 district tournament.
If nothing changes, right now it's scheduled to be at Cardinal Park. We're the 2 seed, so we'll host Unaka, which is a 3 seed. University High is the 1. They'll host Cloudland, which is the 4. So we're playing. Both those games will be on May 1st.
Okay.
And then I think it's May 2nd depends on who wins. And then the 3rd, which would be Saturday, will probably take care of most of it. And then the 2 winners will come back on, I think it's Sunday at 2, and then Monday's the 5th is the if necessary game. So
okay.
Try to get that thing in Sunday. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. But, you know, at least playing at Cardinal Park, if it does rain, you can wait about 15 minutes and go right back to playing, as long as you don't have no thunderstorms and stuff. So.
Looking at it also, if rain does come into effect and it pushes things back, is everything just pushed back 1 day?
I think so. From what I gather, yeah. If it, you know, each day gets pushed back. I think from what we talked about at the meeting, Cloudland and Unaka has prom that Friday night, so I don't think that they'll play that Friday night. So they're going to play first thing Saturday morning. So we'll just kind of, maybe a long day Saturday for some of us, hopefully. You know, hopefully we can come out of there and maybe get a region berth sometime.
That's always what you look forward to when it comes postseason time, survive in advance.
Yep. That's all we can do, Tyler.
Is it win 2 before you lose 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you win 2 before you lose 2, you've got a shot to move on.
All right. That's, I think, all I've got. We've got the location, got the days, the opponents. Talked about Chucky Doak Carter, unless there's anything you'd like to add. I think that's all I've got for you.
Tyler, I got a question for you.
Okay, go for it.
What's the 3 best pitches in baseball?
3 best pitches in baseball. Fastball, a good old curveball, and I like a slider.
I would agree with you. But a good friend of mine told me one time, said the 3 best pitches in baseball is strike 1, strike 2, and strike 3. So
Clever.
yeah. So that's something to keep in mind. Some of these young pitchers out here that's, you know, thinking they can blow a fastball by you and then get you with the curve, but we want strike 1, strike 2, strike 3.
It's pound the zone, baby.
That's right.
Pound the zone and get strikes in.
That's all we can do.
Coach, I believe that's all I got for you this
Thank
week.
you,
Once
Tyler.
again, appreciate you for joining me out here in Baileyton. Thank you all. Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you to everybody for watching this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Jamey Palmer Show, presented by Starnes Barbershop. Look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.